Welcome back to a brand new episode of Gen Z BTC. It's me, Satoshi Guapamoto. And today we're going over my predictions for things that will happen in 2025. All right. These are just a couple spitballs. Nothing is set in stone, but you can come back to this video in a year and see how close I was or how far I missed the mark. Number one prediction for 2025. MicroStrategy will once again be the number one performing stock in the United States. Okay. Out of all the companies in the S&P 500, it will be the best performing company in that index. 100%. All that has to happen for MicroStrategy to be included into the S&P 500 is we need to see 4 positive quarters worth of earnings, right? And this can be attained with Bitcoin going up $5,000 within the first quarter of 2025. The other thing that has to happen is there is a committee and there does have to be some approval in terms of them putting MicroStrategy into the S&P 500. They could skip over it. They did that same thing with Tesla. Obviously, that was a really genius idea that came back to bite them and it made them look like idiots and morons. So they could do that for sure. But under the assumption that they are added to the S&P 500, right, and there are no shenanigans or funny business, they will be the number one performing company in that index by a lot. It won't be by a little bit. It won't be by a small margin. It will be by a lot. If they get that 10 billion share offering approved as well, it will be by a lot. There will probably be a stock split at some point because the price is going to go too high again. And once again, it's going to be the best performing stock by a lot. So that's going to be very exciting to see. That's an easy prediction though. Okay, let's get into some more bold, interesting predictions. Number 2 prediction for 2025, Bitcoin on SNL. Bitcoin will be mentioned on Saturday Night Live. There will be an SNL skit around Bitcoin, the same way there was an SNL skit exclusively around Dogecoin during the time of its hype, during the time of its mania. There will be a mania phase for Bitcoin, and it will be put in the public eye of normies, okay? And all of them, some of them are going to be soy, some of them are going to be salty, some of them are going to be emboldened, they're going to be excited about Bitcoin, they're going to want to learn about it. The normies will come at that point. Bitcoin on SNL. Bookmark it, I guarantee you that one's coming. That's a great prediction, all right? Number 3. No Bitcoin strategic reserve in the United States. I know, boo, boo. This guy's so bearish, bro. Listen, the government just isn't smart enough to understand why they would need Bitcoin. And I don't think they want to take the risk of actually destroying the dollar faster by buying the harder asset, which is Bitcoin. Now, some people might say, well, actually, Bitcoin strengthens the dollar. And I do think that's true in the short term, but I think in the long run, what you're going to see is the dollar completely evaporate in Bitcoin terms and no one's going to use it anymore. There's going to be a complete transition. So I just don't see this going through. At the best, I could see a strategic Bitcoin reserve where they just hold the 200,000 Bitcoin that they currently hold and they don't sell it. That's probably the best that we get. I have high doubts that Cynthia Lummis is able to push any bill through Senate, right? It's just probably not going to happen. If we're just going to be realistic. We're just going to be honest. There are a lot of Bitcoiners in the cabinet. They see the vision, but I can see red tape and bureaucracy stopping this transformative technology from completely changing the direction of the United States going into the 21st century. So I say no Bitcoin strategic reserve in the United States. They will not be buying 1 million Bitcoin. That will not happen. Not in 2025 anyway. Number 4. $500,000 Bitcoin and the stock to flow model will be proven to be correct. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I am a genius modeler or creator of all these Bitcoin price predictions, but I know that there is a Bitcoin power law, there's Bitcoin stock to flow, there's Michael Saylor's model. There are all these different price prediction models, and all models are completely destroyed, by the way. But some of them can be kind of useful if you're trying to guess about where the direction of the price might be going if certain things happen, right? So if a strategic Bitcoin reserve happens, if MicroStrategy keeps buying at these elevated levels, if corporations start getting more involved due to the changing of the fair value accounting, then yeah, we might see different price action. But I am thinking based on everything that we know so far, $500,000 Bitcoin probably peaking out around that price is in the cards for 2025. That would be an amazing run up. It would not be too crazy from things that we've seen during prior cycles. Okay. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. However, we can sometimes learn from the past because it happens to rhyme, right? So $500,000 isn't really that crazy. It might sound crazy on paper, but if you look at it in terms of percentage gain, it's not that insane. In the stock to flow model, many people have said that it's dead, it's been debunked, it's been this and that. After this cycle, all the models will be completely invalidated, or they will be vindicated. So if this doesn't happen, if Bitcoin doesn't go to 500,000, stock to flow is actually completely dead. Because he's saying that Plan B is saying that the average price is going to be around 500,000. That's the average price, right? Between now and 2027, 2028. Whereas the power law is saying that we don't go past 200,000. So one of the models has to break during this cycle. And I'm very excited to see it. And then number 5, the final one, inflation is back. Inflation is back on the menu in 2025. I could see it going all the way, the CPI going up. That's the fake inflation metric, by the way. I could see the CPI going all the way back up to 4%. And they have no idea what they're doing, and they're just forced to reverse course, right? They might start raising interest rates again because of the fact that the economy is so broken and that the money is so fake. There's so much debt in the system. There's so many unrealized losses on the books of some of these banks. And the age of easy money is no more. And they cannot survive during these higher interest rates for longer. And I think the Fed might have to reverse course. That would lead to an insane downward spiral in all equities, like home prices, stock market, Bitcoin. It would all be completely cooked. They would be cooked. All right. Now, of course, Bitcoin typically makes a rebound, right? Because people invest in it when they're more fearful. It's actually becoming a risk off asset, right? When you are worried about what your government is doing and how they're running unsustainable deficits, you buy a Bitcoin, right? But in the short term, I could see this completely destroying all value in any market. It's going to be really, really bad. I do think inflation comes back super hard with Trump wanting to put tariffs on people, with the amount of government spending that they're looking to cut, all these different things, the labor market weakening. The Fed has just completely lost control. They have to reverse course. There's really not too many other options for these guys. You know, the 10-year yield on the Treasury is signaling that the Fed is bluffing. They don't know what they're doing. All right, they're cutting rates, but the 10-year yield is going up. All right, so the Fed is going to have to engage in some sort of yield curve control or something like that. They're going to have to buy treasuries, aka print money, and then the big print comes. When the big print comes, inflation comes back because you're printing money, making it worth less, which then increases the rate of inflation. So it's going to be absolutely insane. I have one final prediction. I have a 6th and final prediction. GameStop will put Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and that'll be a big story. That'll be a major story because otherwise there's no way to save their dying dead company, right? Bitcoin will be on the balance sheet of GameStop and many other companies, right? So I think that's going to be a major story. Major corporate adoption is coming with the changing of the fair value accounting rules, right? You don't have to mark Bitcoin as an intangible asset that you only mark down. You can actually mark the gains up on your balance sheet, which looks good for your profit margins. It looks good for earnings calls, right? So I think that's going to be a major catalyst. That's my 6th prediction. Major corporate adoption. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with someone who might also find it interesting. Let me know what you think about my predictions. Am I just completely delusional? Or does this seem realistic? Is this something that we could see happen? Yes, 500,000 even with no SBR. Yes, I'm truly saying that. Come back and we'll see how close I got. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stack sats or die trying.